Right, so who's heard about all this financial trouble Keir Starmer has landed the Labour Party in, to the point it could actually threaten their ability to fight the next election then? What? You've heard nothing at all? Wow. Colour me surprised, because the mainstream media have mostly ignored it. As some of you might remember, there was a certain report into bullying, racism and harassment within the Labour Party, commissioned by Jeremy Corbyn's then General Secretary, Jennie Formby. It didn't reflect well on the right of the party, nor on those who worked so hard against winning a Corbyn-led government in Labour HQ. It was blocked from release, however, it got leaked, hence the fact it gets referred to as the Labour Leaks Report. The content of the report was awful. Evidence of undermining electoral campaigns, funds misappropriated to shore up favoured MPs instead of fighting to win new seats, blocking of investigations, including ones into antisemitism, and the individuals named and who were clearly guilty of varying degrees of abuse ought to have been the focus for any disciplinary measures. But we're talking about Keir Starmer by this point, so his focus was solely on those who actually ended up leaking the report. They were sure to be rotten lefties, you see, the sort of people Starmer pretended to be, just like until he got the top job and revealed himself to be a charisma-deficient clone of Tony Blair, complete with strings for Peter Mandelson to pull. So determined to find the source of the leak was he that he blew a six-figure sum of Labour's cash on forensic computer investigators to find the guilty parties. They failed. They mounted all manner of expensive legal actions against former left staffers. They lost their shirts. Those who had been named and shamed for their behaviour, however, were quietly readmitted to the party, following suspensions, however. They were the right faction, you see. It seems you can lose the party a general election and stay, but God forbid you ever having spoken to a group Starmer later had banned, because that's an expulsion offence. Of course, what has made this all the worse for Team Keith is that whilst he was blowing party cash like the clappers, chasing a left-wing tail he could never catch, they had been forced by the leaking of the Labour Leaks report to commission their own official independent report into everything the leaked report had claimed. And this was the Ford report. They sat on that for ages. God, we were waiting and waiting and waiting for that to come out. And after it was finally completed and finally released, it showed why they were so desperate to hide it, in fact, because Ford basically confirmed the findings of that original Labour Leaks report. So far, so embarrassing. What a lot of money wasted. Finally, Starmer went to the Information Commissioner's office, though, reporting the information as a data breach with the names of his three lefty suspects. He's really desperate to pin it on the left to justify his ongoing purging, of course, in the hope that they would find a case against one or other of them. And they haven't. They've told Team Keith they have no intention of taking things further, and this is massive, because with that decision comes a legal bill to the party amounting to millions. It's such a massive bill facing the party now that it actually threatens Labour's ability to fight the next election, according to party insiders who spoke to the BBC's Ian Watson, the BBC being the only mainstream source to have covered this in any way, shape or form, but they haven't done a big deal of it. And all of this comes after Starmer blew £600,000 settling court cases with anti-Semitism whistleblowers, some of whom were featured in both the Ford report and the Labour Leaks report, and despite the fact the party was told it would win the cases against them. It might also come as a surprise to some, especially if you've heard of Rachel Reeves lie on TV about this, as the party had more than £13 million in reserves when Corbyn stood down as party leader, and the party was debt-free at that. He had all of that money, and then some appears to have gone with nothing to show for it. Keir Starmer is bankrupting the Labour Party, and from what I've heard today, he still isn't finished yet. He'd better hope all of these ex-Tory donors he's attracting with his red Tory ways are happy to keep coughing up for him.